Martin's podcast, and today, for a change, I'm going to make the introductions. This week is Think Bike Week, and our guest this week is Jon Southgate. Jon, before you tell us about, well, I'm going to ask you about Biker Down shortly, but also Think Bike Week. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your connections to motorcycling?
Well, I have retired from the Suffolk Fire and Rescue service, having spent over 33 years in there, during which time I became a founder member of the fire bike team. Currently, my day job is as business continuity manager for Suffolk County Council. So, as you can imagine, it's been very busy over the last year or so. Motorcycling wise, it's scary to think that I'm approaching 50 years on two wheels. I know you won't be able to see me, but you'd find it hard to believe when you look at my face that it's that cool. But during that time, I competed for 3 years doing motocross and then went on and did a year competing in enduro. In later years, I've toured the UK and parts of Europe. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And I guess my motorcycling highlight has to be winning a pillion lap around a closed circuit on the Isle of Man on the back of a TT winner. It was an absolutely fantastic day. Money can't buy experience. VIP pass to the pits. I ended up getting interviewed by Murray Walker. That was on, or still is, on his celebratory DVD of Centenary Year at the TT. So, yeah, without
Wow, what an
that's my
experience.
highlight, uh,
Yeah.
and will always stay with me. But very passionate about motorcycling and passionate to try and impart my learning and my experience on others and just try and make Suffolk roads a safer place to be.
Thank you, Jon. So we're mentioning Biker Down and Think Bike Week. Could you explain to us a little bit about what that is?
Oh, sure. Think Bike Week is an annual campaign. It's organised by Fire and Rescue Services and overseen by the National Fire Chiefs Council. So those fire and rescue services up and down the country with road traffic collision reduction teams
Yeah.
don't have to also include fire bike teams, but obviously there's a buy-in if a fire and rescue service has got a fire bike team.
Right.
This week, although it's classed Think Bike Week, it started on Friday last week and runs until Monday. It's themed, so there's a message coming out in social media each day. And we've already taken the fire bike down to Allwell Motorcycles in Ipswich, along
Yeah.
with a police colleague with his police bike, just so that we could do the good old fashioned face to face engagement and talk to interested bikers about ways that they can consider being safe or maintenance measures and anything along those lines. So it's a really, really positive way of engagement. As with everything this year, the majority of it is through social media, but
Yeah.
we have to try and make sure that's as effective as possible.
Yeah. And in terms of Biker Down, that's a course you run, isn't it?
It is. Biker Down is a national, essentially a franchise, really.
Right.
It's adopted by fire and rescue services up and down the country, and absolutely thrilled to say that it's actually gone international now.
Oh, brilliant.
Some organisations in America and Canada have taken it on, so the word is really spreading. One or two police authorities actually deliver it, but in the main, there are 40 plus fire and rescue services up and down the country who deliver Biker Down.
Lovely. Thank you, Jon.
Yeah, I understand. Well, Biker Down's been around for a while, Jon, hasn't it? I think it started in Kent. So, what was the idea behind it?
Absolutely right, Martin. It's a really interesting journey that Biker Down has taken. It was devised by a Kent Fire and Rescue crew commander himself a keen motorcyclist who was out with a group of mates one day, and they encountered a motorcyclist collision. So they stopped, they assisted. He was having to guide members of the public who were also there, calling emergency services, monitoring traffic, securing the scene, and such like. And he got home and thought about it, and it crossed his mind that he was able to manage the incident with the benefit of his fire service training, but wondered how a member of the public with no experience might cope. So he put together a very short introduction to scene management and offered it to motorcyclists in Kent. And the word spread around neighbouring authorities, and one or two neighbouring fire and rescue service motorcyclists said, "Oh, Jim, can we just borrow your input?" And it grew from that short input to 3 modules. The first one is on scene management. The second one is on first aid and trauma care. And the third module is on the science of being seen, essentially things that a motorcyclist can do to make themselves seen better and hazard perception.
Yeah.
How we came to learn of it was through the motorcycling world. I, at the time, was running our fire prevention team and very heavily involved in road traffic reduction, collision reduction as well. And myself and a colleague, both keen motorcyclists, we took it to management, put a business case forward, and were lucky enough to be backed by senior management team. And that's how we came to take on Biker Down. And we've just run so many courses. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's brilliant to hear that you're running lots of courses in Suffolk, Jon. Does it differ nationally to what we deliver in Suffolk?
In the main, it doesn't, because we're now overseen by the National Fire Chiefs Council. They've kind of taken over the management and supervision of Biker Down.
Right.
We have what we jokingly call suffocated it. We've added some personal stories. There's a friend and colleague who had a significant collision who very graciously has shared pictures of the collision scene, his list of injuries that he sustained, and we've also had him giving his personal testimony when we were able to run a virtual Biker Down. That just adds so much weight and gravitas to people thinking, actually, this is a local story.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
There's a few other elements that we've added. What we're not allowed to do is to take anything out of the national package, if you like. But where we see fit to add something in, we do. And, we're really proud of what we've built up.
So where in Suffolk can bikers access the course?
Well, because as a fire and rescue service, we've got access to all the fire stations in Suffolk. So what we tend to do in peacetime, without the restrictions of COVID, is we will run an evening session and a Saturday session at each of the 3 full-time stations in Suffolk. So that's Ipswich, Bury St Edmunds and Lowestoft. So 2 sessions minimum per year. We will also acknowledge the calls for an owners group or a particular organisation like Suffolk Advanced Motorcyclists. We do it for the military. We do it for a number of organisations as a bespoke course.
Right, okay.
That can be in a village hall, community centre. We've done it on military bases. So if the demand is there, we will put on a special course as well. And we've done some fantastic collaboration with the Trail Riders Fellowship, the men and women who ride green lanes. We've done a session for curvy riders, female only motorcycle club. If we've got listening ears, we'll go and and deliver the Biker Down course.
Sold it to me. So how much does it cost and how do I get on a course?
Well, you'll be pleased to know it's absolutely free of charge. The fire bike team are volunteers. Some of our core stuff we do get paid for, but in the main, what we do is volunteer. The course itself has now been extended to 3.5 hours. Not only is the course free, but attendees also get a certificate of attendance. And that can be proof because there's a growing number of insurance companies who recognise Biker Down as being a significant improvement in a rider's awareness and that they are less likely to crash, albeit what we teach is guidance around when it goes wrong. But we're thrilled to learn that insurance companies are recognising it, much in the same way that they do with advanced riding skills or even attendance at Bike Safe or Safe Rider. Attendees also get a free first aid kit to take away with them, generally tucked under the seat or wherever they choose. We like to try and give that little freebie, and attendees appreciate it. And also refreshments, teas, coffees, biscuits, and it is a very informal process.
Have you got a social media presence?
Yeah, we have. We've got a Facebook page, which is at Biker Down Suffolk. We've got a Twitter page with a similar hashtag, so people can search for that. We've got a website, and we also piggyback the overarching Suffolk Fire and Rescue Service website. So we might put details on there. So information and how to book on a course is on the website. We'll try and provide regular updates through social media. We're getting better at that. And that's where we're also currently sharing the Think Bike theme as well.
And for those listening along, if you do want to find the links to the websites that Jon has mentioned, those will be in the description box.
Great.
So, Jon, have you had any really positive feedback or particular feedback that sticks in your mind from those who've taken the course?
Yeah, we have. What we've introduced in the last couple of years, we've introduced a pre-course questionnaire. So we then are able to judge how successful our input has been. And it's along the lines of what is your riding philosophy? Have you had any experience? Would you feel confident in stopping at a collision scene before the course? And then we'll ask them again afterwards. And almost without exception, the feedback is that people would now be confident to stop and assist and try and manage a collision scene. Although this is Biker Down, the guidance that we give can be adopted and adapted for any collision scene. Sadly, on occasion, some of the incidents that we encounter, the decision is already dictated. It might be that somebody has sadly lost their life before we even get there.
Yeah.
However, people can still play a part. They can contribute and give that person their last piece of dignity. They can arrange for a human shield around that person. They can seek coverage. They can manage the scene. And a lot of people want to feel that they're being useful. And that's how we guide people. So some of the feedback has been really, really glowing. We also do an abridged version of Biker Down on the Suffolk Police Safe Rider course. And one of the pieces of feedback from that will always stick in my mind, that one of the attendees had encountered a few weeks after our presentation a fatal road traffic collision, albeit with a cyclist versus a stationary lorry.
Yeah.
Somebody had already stopped at the scene, happened to be an off-duty nurse, but our attendee said, "Okay, I'll leave the casualty to you. I will manage the scene." And they fed back to both the police and myself just how confident they were to be able to manage the scene, to direct other passers-by, to do certain tasks. And that one really, really epitomizes what confidence and skills we give to people to be able to step in where otherwise it might be head down and walk past because of lack of confidence. So it was lovely to hear.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
John, I think you've probably already covered this, but just to confirm, most people when they think biker think usually male, older motorcyclists on big bikes. If I were a younger rider, perhaps even on L plates, is there a place for me?
Absolutely. We don't dictate any sort of riding experience to attend Biker Down, nor do we determine the size of bike or anything like that. We have very experienced riders, and I'm talking some of the riders we've had are in their 70s who have been riding far longer than me. We've had people learning to ride. We've had non-qualified pillions because, you know, if a rider and their pillion are out together and they alone have an off, one or the other can do the necessary. Invariably, a lot of motorcyclists ride in groups, so we talk about group riding and how people can step in. But we also have 14, 15-year-olds at times who are the son or daughter of an existing rider who have aspirations to qualify on a bike. And also, we've had car drivers come on the course. It isn't absolutely exclusive only for bikers. We're sometimes challenged as to what we're doing to educate other road users, whether it's car, van, HGV, or whatever, even horse riders and cyclists. The awareness of motorcyclists and motorcyclists of other road users goes far beyond only motorcyclists. So we will do anything we can to get the message across.
So do you work with any other groups, John?
We do, yeah, very closely. We have a really good working relationship with you guys in Suffolk Road Safe.
Yeah.
Work closely with Suffolk Advanced Motorcyclists and ultimately the IAM. We work with ROSPA and the local group of those, which is called Suffolk Riders. Work really closely, as I've explained, with Suffolk Police on their Safe Rider course. We work with Trading Standards, and they're currently promoting on our behalf Think Bike Week and issues around rogue motorcycling gear and the importance of making sure that crash helmets particularly, but also riding gear is appropriately certificated. We work with local dealerships as well, as we did last Saturday down to Allwell Motorcycles. One of the fire bikes that we've got is a KTM, the other one is a BMW.
Yeah.
We've supported BMW dealerships with taking our fire bike up there almost as an attraction, but also as a hook for us to speak to bikers. And we've offered that also with Allwell's when they took on the KTM dealership. We work with other fire and rescue services. We supported our neighbours in Norfolk when they took on Biker Down. So we took both fire bikes and a number of team members to support them in their first two courses that they ran. We obviously work with and are supported by the National Fire Chiefs Council. And we're currently also now developing a new work stream where we want to build a better package for young riders. That's being done nationally. And myself, I'm now heading up a national working group trying to build a bespoke Biker Down package aimed at the adventure bike rider and the green laner. As I say, we've already worked with Trail Riders Fellowship, and I've now got on board the chair of the Trail Riding Fellowship to assist us in building this package. So really exciting times.
Excellent. Thank you, Jon.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to wrap it up here. I just looked at the clock and time's flown by. I've got so many more questions, but we'll probably have to invite you back again, Jon. But thanks very much indeed. And thank you, Holly, for producing this.
Yeah, I definitely think some really useful bits of information in there. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks ever so much for the opportunity. I'm more than happy to expand on anything or to be contacted. So, by all means, use my email address and people can contact me. But thanks again for the opportunity and safe riding, everybody.